time live on Substack. So I'm excited to be able to try this out and see how it goes. But let me introduce myself. My name is Sherie Holland. I live in North Mississippi. University of Mississippi is right down the road, and I am a board certified functional health coach. I'm also a trained certified hypnotist, and I love studying religion, spirituality, philosophy, theology, same as religion, but psychology, immunology, physiology. So for 20 years, I've worked in some capacity in functional medicine, weight loss, it started, or fat loss. But to speed things up along, I'm interested in these things because my life depended on it, quite literally. I had to learn for self-preservation. I started a business many years ago, not because I necessarily wanted a business or had time, but I became so interested in how the physiology worked and why I was having such a hard time losing weight. So a lot of my background starts with just learning a little bit of physiology, which opened the door to learning so much more. So I'm not going to talk a lot about me today. It's irrelevant, but what I did want to come on here and share, because I just had a conversation with a client that is not someone I generally, the type of person I meet with. I usually meet women very much like me, similar background. And this was a truly wonderful opportunity to get to sit with someone that's very different than me, yet we are so similar, spirit-wise. So externally completely different, internally walking a similar path, and you would never know that. And that's what's important for me to talk about and continue this. So what came up for us, and I think what would have helped me years ago when I started my healing journey, self-healing journey, and I was going externally trying to find everybody and all kinds of help and save me, and something clearly has to be wrong with me, and so let's find what it is so that right person can just fix me, and then I can go on with living life, which, by the way, has never happened because you're not broken, and there's no one to fix you. There's nothing to be fixed. But what I discovered, because my extreme health issues, which I really didn't know I had, this is how deceptive chronic illness can be, or unresolved trauma can be. You don't even know it's there. It's like looking through, a window. You see the outside, but you look long enough and you'll walk right into the door that's a window, because you forget that you're looking through something. And it was my normal. Intense stress had become so normalized for me, my body did not even feel it anymore. My brain did not even feel it anymore. All I was really feeling was overwhelm and fatigue, which they've always got, an answer for that. Your age, or you're a mom, or, well, it just is, or slow down, or how are you sleeping? And yes, all of those things are important. I'm not knocking any of them. But eventually, what I didn't receive was actual care, because they won't check the proper things to check the physiology of the body to make sure the body is actually meeting, or the needs of the body are being met. So they discard you there, especially if you're a woman. especially if you're an unimportant woman. But after I had the seizures, what eventually happened was my body took on so much that I started having seizures, and they were not epileptic in nature, although there's some evidence, that I did end up having actual brain seizures. But what it was something called PNES, and that stands for psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. Psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, also referred to as functional seizures or functional nervous system disorder. Basically, the example is my body had accumulated so much stress over the course of my life that I had just put it down and pushed it away and pushed it aside and just had my coping mechanisms and just treated my symptoms for years and years and decades, that just like, Dr. Levine shows when he talks about somatic work, they go to work on a wild animal and you shoot it with a tranquilizer, you work on the wild animal, and then you get out of Dodge and you watch that animal wake back up. Well, that animal has been flooded with, cortisol, adrenaline, glucose, all these hormones for, survival, that when it gets up, it looks around like, hey, what the heck just happened to me? And it sees that I'm actually okay, but who are those weirdos over there? And it's mad. But eventually, the animal shakes off and then resumes the hunt or the searching or the going back to home, whatever it needs to do for its normal life. People with PNES have essentially reached a point where life has been so serious for them, so challenging. They've lived in a state of fight or flight or freeze and or fawn for so many years that they don't even recognize how to relax and have fun. The body has been shifted into a state of sympathetic dominance, to the point where it can even be in a freeze state. So it's not fighting and it's not running, but it is down. It's down for the count. And this is what I call chronic fatigue or dysautonomia or Guillain-Barré or anything that, even in my opinion, can be depression that puts you down. So what I wanted to bring to the table today, the whole reason, was I was gratefully given the opportunity because of the experience that this client, or the research, the self-research that this client has done on their own, that when they brought it up to me, it opened the door that I could go deeper to help them. And this is what I myself found to be so helpful along my journey for healing. I'm not saying I'm completely done healing, but I feel healed now, even though I have episodes or flare-ups, because even in the episodes or flare-ups, I know it's just temporary. So I don't get stressed out about it. The only reason why I get stressed out about it is I know it impacts my family, and that is the stressor. But other than that, I am no longer concerned about something is wrong with my body. I know I'm going through what I need to go through to get to the other side, that there needs to be a loss, a shamanic death, a dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it. Something has to be released in order for you to become renewed. Okay. And before I understood myself, and when I was so sick all the time, I lived in a lot of fear. I didn't know I had a lot of fear. People in fear don't realize they're fearful because they've adapted in so many ways that they've literally controlled their outside world and their inner world, thinking that they've created the illusion that everything's fine. So they don't feel the fear because they've been so proactive at trying to protect against it, that they've made themselves feel secure enough to ignore that they're actually in fear. They don't want to feel it, so they've set up things to make them not feel it, but they've never dealt with, you actually are fearful within, and that is what's causing the problem. So no matter how good of a barrier that you create, the fear is still within. So that's where I was unknowingly. Of course, hindsight's 2020. My body ended up having these seizures, and it was, a 3-week process, if not longer, but that's with the hospitalizations. I'm still not out of the seizure period, although I haven't had seizures in 4 years now. So I'm better, and it's from this knowledge that I've gained that I'm about to get to. And I am going to use my notes here because I don't want to get off track and I want to stay on time. I want to keep it simple. But one thing that I didn't know that helped me start my healing process so I could embody the peace instead of just pretending like I was in peace. But one was the recognition that you're not your body, that this body is just how I move around. The I in here is not this body. The I can't be here without the body. So when the body is sick, it is not you. The body is very similar to just any animal on the face of the planet. It's just been domesticated, no different than when you bring a new pet home and you have to train it to live in your house or live in your yard. Humans are just a level of domesticated animals, and I mean specifically the physical body. It's an animal. Call it your pet. Some people mistreat their body. They don't like their pet for some reason. And some people really love their pet and take care of it. It's just a matter of how you look at it. The other thing is you have a mind. So you're not just this one person sitting here, like this one bottle is sitting here. This bottle contains water in it. It also has an outside that I'm touching, and it has a top that you take off. Okay, so you're very similar. The body is one thing, a domesticated animal. How well it's domesticated is up to the parents that raise it, or the civilization, the society, the community it's in. Those that will not domesticate properly gets it to the pound, which in human terms is called jail. So either you can control yourself or you can't. If you can't, we have a place to put people who will not control themselves, who will not learn self-mastery. Then you have the mind. The mind is, think of it like this, kind of this, I don't know, we can think of it like this top that kind of keeps everything in, right? If you, old cartoons where they have the bubble over, like I've got my heart here, it's like it's a caption. Your mind just receives and sends things. Your body is an antenna. That's why your DNA is a spiral helix. It's just like the antennas they make for any of your electronics. They're spiral. It's the greatest way to be able to pick up information. So this physical body, just like the animals, is a transmitter and receiver. An animal can hear something, get scared, run, get to safety, and it's fine. You can do the same thing. You just allow your mind to create a story that may or may not be true, and it may really sound true and convince you because that's what it's great at doing, is convincing you in order to keep you safe or out of trouble, not out of trouble, but out of dying. And sometimes it doesn't even do that very well. But the mind is just an electromagnetic resonance that you don't know what comes and what doesn't come. So you can't help what comes to you or doesn't come to you, but how you respond to it is. And that's where the third thing comes in, is you're not your body, you are not your mind, you have those things, but what you are is the soul, the spirit essence that is the life. You can't see it. It's the life force that is alivening, making my hands move, making these words come out of my mouth. It's alivening, giving life to this physicalness. So very similar to the water in here. So when we get depleted, we don't move very fast and good, but when we're filled up and well, then, you know, we move on. Why this is important to me, when I, break it down into those three things, is you have a body, you have a mind that you have no control over. Always, you don't always have control over them. And you, the real you, is the life, the spirit within, the soul, which soul means sun, light. You are the light within that alivens this physicalness. Because when people over-identify with, I have a mental health disorder, then they're over-identifying with, my mind is broken and needs to be fixed, or they're having health problems and they think my body is having problems, so it needs to be fixed. But what I'm trying to present is those things can happen, but they're not you. They're happening for a reason. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about tragedies or anything like this. I'm talking about the chronic issues in life that people are experiencing over and over and over again. They can't seem to break free from. This is who I'm talking to. This can still be applicable for sure for everybody else, but to keep it simplified, I don't want to over-explain for the acute issues, but it is true for them. If you would like guidance on this, one of the greatest teachers out there for human biology is Dr. John F. DeMartini. Just listen to a video. Listen to him walk a person through questioning and breaking down the thoughts of the mind so you can get to neutral. Why, again, this matters is because if a person, the ego, the I that they think that they am, is over-identified with being a body and a mind, then you are constantly seeking, trying to fix those things. When I am here and saying, I learned from my own experience, at least for myself, that those things are happening to shift you into a new direction that's more appropriate for you and your whatever you're supposed to, your purpose in life or meaning in life, and if we have one or not, but get you on your path. Because until I realize that this body is not me, I have a body, I'm dragging it around, I got to take care of it, I'm a steward to this body. This mind, the thoughts that come, they're often not true, and they weigh me down and they make me sick and they cause me all kinds of stress. But when I separated myself from, that's not me, that's just an experience in this moment that's occurring, that the real me, the life, just the life, is witnessing. And just go with it. And the more I can be with that, whatever I am referring to as being unpleasant, want it to be fixed, if I can sit with it and be with it, it teaches me. Now, some people have a harder time with this due to mental health issues or medications that they're on, because medications can block our ability to process the emotions, and I am a huge proponent for having someone to process emotions with, especially if you have mental health issues or have been under treatment for mental health issues or on medication. No one should stop their medication abruptly. I do think people can taper off when they get the correct help and information that they need to understand themselves. So I'm not going to elaborate any more on it because it's really an in-depth topic. I'm not the only one that's talking about it. I just wanted to emphasize how much it helped me in not just my learning to heal and understanding my body, but as flare-ups, if you want to call them there, or issues in life occur, this is my default thinking now. It's not, oh no, something's wrong, I've got to go get help because there's a problem. I just, in an empowering way, surrender to, okay, the fatigue has hit. Today, I'm just going to be calm. And with that, I'm not going to beat myself up about being fatigued. I don't know why. I don't need to go figure out why. I just am. Because when we're living in the world of unity or non-duality, it is not me that's experiencing this. It is me that is in the center of it, but in non-dual language, what is happening to me is happening for me to be able to grow closer into that oneness, which is what I'm striving to get to. So the notes that I was gonna bring up was basically, this is the study of oh my gosh, I have a hard time saying that word every time. Psychoneuroimmunology. Immunology. Sorry, I said it a million times before and then go live and you can't say it. But it's studying how your mind and your nervous system and your immune system are all connected. And when you bring theology in with it, which is the person's beliefs, if the person was taught, like I was, very fearful based early religion, that runs in your nervous system until you resolve it, until you comprehend it, and it's helpful to you and not fearful to you. The nervous system is going to run off the beliefs that the world is dangerous or the world is okay and safe enough. I can go have fun. And it depends on which lane you get in, so to speak. But I'm just trying to say there are no one lanes. The body is supposed to go through a full range of emotions, a full range of thoughts, a full range of ups and downs. What we're trying to do is stay more neutral instead of way high and way low, but not neutral to the point where you're flatline. Flatline means, you know what it means. So we want, life to be flowing and moving and spiraling and going. But if you're scared and fearful and think something's wrong every time something kind of drops, you're missing some of the greatest parts of what moves us towards evolution and growth, not just individually, but collectively. So let's not always look at these reoccurring things that keep popping up as problems to be fixed or treated or solved in a way that medicine blocks it. So in my case, after the seizures, which I took seizure medication for a period of time because I had no idea what happened to me. I couldn't figure it out, so I just had to stabilize myself. But what I realized that the longer that I was delaying shaking out of the stress, and I'm not saying having more seizures was the appropriate way, because that's not it, but there were better ways to do it now that I was clued in to what had happened to me, is every time I was using the medicine to stop the seizures, what I was doing was suppressing what needed to come out, what was trying to come out the first time. And I think that's what we do a lot of times with any medicine in general, whether it's blood pressure or the antidepressants and anti-anxiety. There's a time and a place for medications. I'm not anti them at all. I am not for people thinking that you have this problem, so now you need this medicine for life. That's just a lie. It might be true in certain cases, and it's certainly true for people that don't want to do the work. You have that option to just get the diagnosis and take the medication for life. No problem with me here. I work with people that are not interested in just taking the medication for life and moving forward. I work with people that want to understand more about themselves. They are interested in not just the physiology of the body. They don't necessarily need a lesson on it, but what they want to do is have that personal relationship with their authentic self, not this false ego that is causing and contributing to the stress and the physiology issues that they may be experiencing. My analogy was, until a person recognizes that they have a body, they have a constant running mind, which affects their body, and they have a spirit within, and that spirit is working on the mind. So they're all connected. But when you get them, if they're not in alignment, before they're in alignment, the way I kind of see it, it's like herding cats. You can't get your diet right. You can't get your exercise right. You can't get your relationships right. Maybe you get one thing right in your life, but the other ones are a mess, because your mind is telling you to do one thing, your body's wanting to do another thing, and your spirit's totally not changing. It's trying to direct you into your true authenticity, and the ego parts are going, we don't want to hear you. We want to do all these things that either are fun or they keep us safe. It's one or the other. We seek pleasure or avoid pain. And until we recognize that those three make up you, the one, it's like herding cats. But when you get each of them on board with you, you have alignment. And this is where I discovered after the seizures that when I can get my body embodied with the truth, which is what I'm teaching now, and my mind, which intellectually accepts this as truth, it's just my body often rejects it because the body wants to make sure everything is safe, and it's just not going to surrender control that easy. It takes time. This is why patience is so important and such a strong virtue. And your spirit, until you get them all on the same page, you're herding cats. Get them on the same page and you have alignment. And this alignment allows you to hear yourself clearly without the fear filtering through, lying to you or blocking truths from you. You get more opportunities instead of seeing potential problems. And it's just a new way of not just looking at life, but also understanding your own body and why, when we have flare-ups, is it a flare-up or is it an opportunity to sit with the issue that's presenting to you and let it speak to you. Let it reveal itself to you instead of you narrating the story around it. So recently, an example, I in the past was diagnosed with gastroparesis very young in life, and it doesn't matter. The diagnosis was made by a gastroenterologist years ago, and I would have flare-ups quite regularly. After I went through trauma therapy, every supplement that I ever had to take for my stomach, which was literally 20 years, stopped. I was able to get off of them. I was no longer having any gastroparesis flare-ups or digestive issues, which I took hydrochloric acid and enzymes for every single meal, every single day. I traveled with them. I stockpiled them. I could not eat food without them. And now, after trauma therapy, what we discovered, gastroparesis has an emotional connection, often linked to childhood and mothers. I won't go into the mother issue, but there's a connection. So if you can't stomach something in life, your digestive tract is not going to let you stomach the food you put into it. So again, there's an emotional link. But getting in alignment and having your body and your mind and your spirit already knows, understand that, hey, there's no more fear anymore, no more irrational fear. There's certainly true fears, but most of us are not sitting around worrying about real fears, because when real dangers happen, we fix them, we can resolve them, we do something. But what we generally sit around worrying about are things that never happen, and it causes a lot of turmoil in our life and system and just world in general, but health. So I just wanted to share that, and in hopes that it might help somebody understand, like it did me. If you did not grow up knowing this, the difference between the body and the mind and the soul, to me, that's the Trinity. I hope that you find that helpful, and in some way it can possibly offer you benefit as you go through your healing journey. But thanks for those who joined today. This was very impromptu, and if you have any questions or want to discuss more, or want me to talk about anything more in functional medicine or physiology, psychology, any of the things mentioned here, spirituality, the mind, body, soul connection, somatic work, just leave a message. And again, please feel free to share if you think that this could help another person, because you would be surprised, if you know it, how many people don't know it, and they live in fear, and it keeps us, bound in this stress state that we're not even aware that we're in. So anyway, thanks again.